Well, I like to share with you, first of all, the circumstances in which I observed him offering prayer. We were in one hotel, and unfortunately, because of snowstorm, all the flights were cancelled at that airport in Zurich. And because of that, all the hotels were packed. There were no availability of rooms. So I had the grand opportunity of spending night with Master in the same bed. So as not to disturb his sleep, I hardly moved in my bed. I was like a dead body in the bed. When he woke up in the morning, I observed that he was seated at one corner of the bed. He sat very comfortably, very relaxed, like this. And he was lost in the prayer. I could feel the vibrations in the room. I could feel on my skin how these vibrations were palpable. There was warmth, there was love, and all that was melting me away at a very core of my heart. And then I asked Master, not knowing what he was doing. That's when I learned that he told me that he was offering prayer to Babuji Maharaj. So that gave me the idea this is how one should offer. The only thing I can describe what became of him at that moment was that he was simply melting away. If he was alone in his room and if he had to offer prayer, perhaps he would have cried out also. Because there is no inhibition when you are alone and offering prayer to your own Guruji or to God. You can be very comfortable alone in a dialogue, in osmosis with the Maker. There is no inhibition whatsoever. No one is watching you except you are there and God is there. You can pour your heart out in absolute saranagati in that prapanna state. No inhibition whatsoever. Share your love without inhibition. And that's what prayer is all about. When we address, O Master, Thou art the real goal of human life. See, with what love this statement is being offered from inside. Thou art the real goal of human life. There can be many other goals, but you are my main goal. Then what is preventing us? We are yet but slaves of wishes. It is not an ordinary statement. It's not that you are captivated by your wishes, but you have become slave. And that's the problem. See, we are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. And having felt this helplessness arising out of enslaved by the wishes, your heart cries out, seeking help. In utter saranagati, in utter surrender, you cry your heart out and say, My God, without your help, I cannot achieve you, I cannot attain you. For a guru like Babuji Maharaj, who does not even think that he is a guru, who doesn't even think who is not a guru, not only that, but a person who doesn't think that he is in such a position, why would you ever think that he is God? He cannot. These are real gurus are insignificant servants of humanity. The very idea of mastery doesn't cross their mind, and if at all it crosses their mind, they can no longer serve. They don't remain fit enough to serve the humanity and the godly kingdom. Putting adjectives in front of your name, Swami so and so, doesn't really make you a Swami. Swami means who is the master of the universe. Mastery is there only if you become dust, insignificant servant at the feet of the Lord. But as far as devotee is concerned, there is no other God than the Master. Babuji will reflect and say no. Once I was sitting with him in Shahjahanpur and I was trying to clarify all about our prayer, same prayer. I shared my problem regarding the prayer. He said, Babuji, I am not able to go cross the second line of the prayer. I said, what's the matter with you? He said, Babuji, how can I tell you you are God and power? See, इसमें problem क्या है? Well, I said, Babuji, you are greater than God, I feel in my heart. How can I tell you you are God? He felt a little bit awkward at that moment and he said, do what I say. Offer the prayer as it is prescribed. Don't analyze too much. I say, okay, Babuji. But that should be the sentiment. I think that the Guru, our Babuji Maharaj, our masters, they're superhuman beings, if not gods in your heart. Treat them as such. If you try to treat them as equals, you'll never attain godliness because there is still too much of ego. From the lofty heights where from the God showers His grace, but if your ego and its heights are greater than Everest, then how can God descend in your heart? It simply cannot. You are not receptive enough. There is so much of resistance in you. Preparedness. If it is not there in us, we cannot receive grace from God. What is this preparedness? When we meditate, what is our aim? This relationship with God is something more sublime, more enchanting, where beloved and lovers, they become one in the process. Do we have that belonging? And unless we have that belonging, how can you have the longing? Without longing, you belong to no one. Longing to be one. Are we hungry enough? Do we come in this meditation hall with absolute preparedness, with purity and simplicity of the heart, coming here ahead of time instead of just strolling around as if you are a tourist of this meditation hall? You cannot. One must have a thirst, one must have the hunger. And with this attitude, with this preparedness, when we offer prayers in utter silence, it creates such a state. It creates vibrations and it resonates with God. Then the God responds. What generally happens is people offer prayer in a rush. They are on the go all the time. This meeting, that meeting, cooking in the kitchen, doing the dishes, preparing things for the children. I don't say you don't do it, but adjust your life in such a way that your prayers are heard. It's better not to offer prayer if you're going to rush, and throw your prayer as if you're throwing some flowers on God's statue. Words will not reach there. You have to be totally focused, totally centered within, and let that silence resonate with the silence of the Lord. Well, you have already recognized that you are being challenged by circumstances. It is a good beginning. You have known all these challenges, and without challenge, who has ever succeeded in life? Face them. Take the bulls by its horn and fight with the bulls. On one side, absolute tenderness in your heart, absolute love in your heart towards God, and become like a lion facing the world. That is a successful formula, I would say. That's a formula for success in life. And always take pride in your work. Don't do half-hearted work. Don't do half-hearted meditation. Don't press your parents' feet or massage your parents half-heartedly. It's better not to do it. But whatsoever you may do it with all your heart. Only yesterday some ideas were coming to me, and I said with our brothers that there are 5 levels of work or multiple layers of work. मजबूर होके करना पड़े. In Hindi they say कल मजबूरी से कर रहे हैं, meaning you are helpless and end up doing things. You don't find any joy when you are helpless and you have to end up doing it. And that's why maids and drivers, they serve. Why? Majboori. They can hardly smile, they can hardly laugh. I'm talking in general. Exceptions may be there. Then there's another level where it's not helplessness, but you think that it's my duty to do it. To look after your wife or your husband, people, if they do it out of duty, to my heart it's a problem. Looking after parents, because it's my duty, it's a problem. Looking after children, because it's my duty, it's a problem. When you fall in love, suppose, extramarital affair, do you think it's your duty to meet your beloved? You may come back home and say, it's my duty to be at home, be with my spouse. But when you do meet your beloved elsewhere out of your marital relationship, do you consider that as your duty? So that answers a lot of things, that when you love something, it is something superior to duties. And aspect of duty further enhanced by Babuji Maharaj, he says that if you perform your duty in remembrance of the Lord, thinking of the great God in your heart and doing the things in His remembrance, that is greater than duty itself. But when you do out of love, because you love to do it, you love to serve your parents, you love to be associated with your spouse, you love to serve. But if you add that extra step that I love to serve so that my master, my guru, my Lord is happy. So there is incremental commitment to our work, which has a fragrance of love. So youth should understand that if your heart is not agreeing, if your heart does not permit, don't force yourself to do something that against your will, against your heart. Otherwise, you get used to doing all these stupid things against your heart. Most marriages are miserable today because parents force them to marry someone beyond their heart. You disagree, and parents say, what will happen to our name, my son or my daughter, our community, our prestige? You're not listening. Is this why we gave you birth and raised you and gave you education? Now you're not listening. They blackmail you. Always follow your heart. Parents are in the past. Your future lies with your wife. Listen to them. Listen to your husband. Temporarily, parents might get hurt, but follow your heart all the time. It's not only the organ transfer, but I share with you my story of which most people might find it very awkward and very impractical. It was in 2008 or 2009, when Master told me, you better stay in Chennai with me. I like your company. So I stayed back. And then what had happened, I didn't have a car at that time. So we used to order Uber permanently and keep on shuffling between the ashram and Gayatri or wherever he was. Each time I sat in the car, I felt really awkward, and each day different car, different drivers. And my whole body used to shiver at times, and I felt very ugly, as if some really bad person is touching my body. So I stopped traveling in Uber and bought my own car. Similar things can happen when we are borrowing the organ of someone. It may match health-wise, but it may not match at a spiritual level or at emotional level. But what choice do you have? It really doesn't matter whether the heart was from a tamasic person or a sattvic person. We have the ability of cleansing. We can clean whatsoever just as we take food, right? Before we take food, we offer prayer. Why do we offer prayer? So that the vibrations of the food that we consume can change. And we not only just end the story by offering mantras or offering prayers, but while eating also, while partaking meal, we are in a remembrance of God, being grateful to all those individuals who made this food. In that gratefulness, something happens. We should be grateful that so and so had sacrificed, life has ended, and now I am the beneficiary of their organ. May God bless them. The impact will always be there. You may be tamasic, but the donor may be sattvic. Thank God. You may be sattvic and donor may be tamasic. It's okay. You have the ability to transform whatever you touch. So as Bhargis, the practicants of heartfulness meditation, with that sankalpa, they can change anything, vibrationally speaking. So let's not worry about all those things. Do whatever we can. If you're a doctor, transfer this organ with all compatibilities, not only at the health level, but at a spiritual level as well. And thank you for your prayers for me.